Selecting a product design company to work with is really, really difficult. My name's Phil, I've run a design agency for 12 years and I know all the tips and tricks and all the cons that other agencies use, and basically what I want to try and do is help you, if you're about to select a product design partner, to choose the right one, to avoid all the pitfalls, and I just want to wave a few red flags so that actually you know what you're looking for and how to select the perfect design partner for you and your project. Now this video combines various different videos that I've done over the last 8 months, and it puts them all into one place, so it gives you a really handy guide for everything you need to look out for. So without further ado, let's crack on. 1. Have they got significant experience in turning something similar to your idea into a manufacturable product? For example, let's say that you've got a fabric-based product that's for a mother and baby market. You really want to look at their previous experience and ensure that that product designer has done plenty of other fabric-based mother and baby products, because they'll understand the materials, they'll understand how to design for production, and they'll also know about the specific requirements for that market in terms of testing and certification and standards. So that really is the first thing you need to look for. And the experience you're looking for is not just designing a product and maybe winning a design award, but actually taking the product through into production and designing it cost effectively for manufacture. And that is a critical element. A lot of designers will come up with very beautiful pictures or amazing looking concepts, but at the end of the day, you need something that's commercially viable, and that means it needs to be value engineered for cost effective manufacture. The second thing you really need to look for is a product designer that you get on really well with. This might sound odd, but the project is probably a minimum of 9 months. It may be as much as 18 months. And if you're developing a range and further products, this might be a relationship that lasts 20 years. And it is critical that your product designer understands your vision, communicates really effectively with you, and that you get on well together, because really this needs to be a partnership. It's your baby, and you're going to be the one going out there and selling and marketing it, or running the team that sells and markets it. And to have a designer who really understands that and gets on board with your vision is critical for your long-term success. Finally, when choosing a product designer, I'd suggest that you make sure you get a design team. The problem with creatives working on their own is that often they don't have people to bounce off, and you don't often get the right end result. For most products, it's really beneficial to have more than one designer inputting at any one stage, particularly if you've got different materials or different components that have got to come together and work effectively. Often if you commission a design firm that maybe has got 7 or 8 designers, you've then got all of their experience coming in to your final product, and that can have a huge additional benefit. If you have too big a company and your product isn't a huge commission for them, you can find that you're bottom of the list in terms of priority, or you've got a very junior designer working on your product. And that is not sensible either. So really I would suggest getting a medium-sized design firm so that you've got more than one creative inputting in your product, but you're not a small fish in a very big pond where you're not getting the attention that your new idea deserves. This should be illegal. The design agency ends up owning the rights to the new design. So rather than you owning those rights, they basically say, well, we've added something, or we've actually come up with a new aesthetic or whatever, and we own some of the intellectual property around this idea. And therefore, for every one you go on to sell, you need to pay us a royalty. Now, this is a complete con. You're going to pay the design agency to do a project for you, and you're paying for that creativity and that ingenuity and for them to come up with the right product. But you shouldn't have to keep paying for that for every single unit that you make and sell. We had a client come to us who'd been to another design agency, and she was being charged £5 per product to use the design agency's design that they had come up with. So basically, every time she produced and manufactured a product, she was having to add £5 on to pay the design firm. But the thing is,
She paid the design firm fees to design the project in the first place. They had this hidden secret clause within the contract that basically meant that they could charge her for rights to use the design on every product that she went on to manufacture and sell. And it's only when she started questioning the manufacturer and saying, why is this product so expensive? We've got to get it cheaper. I can't, sell it without getting the product cost down because there's just not enough margin in it. It's only then that she understood from the factory that there was this design referral fee that no one had told her about, and that basically was making her product far too expensive and she couldn't make any profit out of it. You can make sure that you don't fall into this trap by making sure that within the contract with the product design firm that all the intellectual property, including on anything new that they bring to your design while working for you, belongs to you. You can make doubly certain of this by getting that design company to sign an IP assignment agreement at the end of the project that makes it explicitly clear that they're transferring all of the IP rights in the project. And this is critical for investment. You want to make sure that all of the IP is within your business. Please do make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and if you've got any questions on this video, please do put them in the comments section below. This is really helpful to help grow the channel. Make sure that you do not fall for this trap. This is where you get fake design that's going to cost you a lot of money, but actually you're going to have to redo it and it could set your project back by months. So the trap is this: the design company offers a low upfront cost compared with other design firms, but actually what you're getting is not detailed design of all of the product for mass manufacture with your user in mind. All you're getting is this pretty picture. It's just a mirage, if you like, and we like to call it fake design. Now, the styling and the look and the materials is important, and there is value sometimes in having some photorealistic renders of what your product could look like. But the problem is when you think you're getting more than that and the product design company hasn't been honest about the level of detail they're going to go into. Now, I'm going to share a couple of examples of this in just a minute, but before I do this channel to help people like you to not make some mistakes, to give you a much better chance of commercial success with your product and learn from some of my experience. But it really helps if you could like and subscribe, and if you put any questions in the comments section below, then I will personally respond to all of them to help you on your journey. Now, the real problem with this fake design is that you'll get the pretty pictures that the design firm has produced, you'll take them to a manufacturer or to a retailer, you'll get some good feedback, and then when you look to take the next step and go into production, you'll find that actually the whole thing has got to be done again, and you're paying again. So actually it's not cheap at all, it's much more costly in the medium to long term. Now, let me share a couple of real life examples so that I can bring this to life and help you to see what I mean. Now, this problem is very widespread. We probably have 6 or 7 potential clients come to us every year who've fallen into this trap, who've already spent thousands of pounds with another design company, only to then realise that the whole design needs to be done again because nothing's been thought about in terms of internal components, materials, production methods, and how it's going to be produced in volume. One client that came to us with their product who'd already spent thousands of pounds was Equerry. Now, we then had to go right back to the beginning because we said to them, look, the problem is it looks pretty, but no one's thought about how large the motor is, what capacity the battery is, where the PCB goes, and what the mechanism is for squeezing out the polish to clean the shoes. All of that work then had to be redone. And our job actually was harder because someone had already designed the outside casing, and our client was really keen that we stuck with the same style and size, but then we had to work with those constraints while sorting out all of the detail. And we literally did go right back to the beginning because the first step in a project like this needs to be a proof of principle prototype. We prove the basic concept in terms of the motor and the torque and that type of thing, and then we build it from there. So you're basically starting with the functionality, starting with the manufacturing processes, and then designing, and that's the critical difference. Now, this next example is even worse, because actually if the client hadn't come to us and had it redesigned, it would have cost them tens of thousands of pounds. Now, the reason is the design company designed this home economics rucksack to have a custom injection molded component in the inside to form the different sections that you could put the food into. But the problem is that was going to cost about £20,000 in injection mold tools to go into production. Now the client thought they could bring it to us and we could simply find them a manufacturer and off they'd go. And I had to explain that actually we needed to redesign that component and take out that tooling cost. So it cost her a couple of thousands of pounds with us to redesign that component, but as a result we saved her all of that tooling cost. The design that we came up with our experience didn't need any injection mold tools at all. And this is the other problem often with visualization design. It's often done by very junior designers and there isn't enough budget in what you're paying them for them to actually think it all through from a production perspective or think it all through from what your target market really wants and do any market research to get the real right solution for you. Effectively, all they're doing is fake design. So don't fall for the pretty pictures. So what is the solution to this? Whatever design company you go with, make sure you ask the difficult questions about what you're actually getting for your money. How developed is your design actually going to be? What's going to be required once you finish their proposal before it could go into production? And most importantly, what market research is going to be done along the way to make sure that what's being developed is actually what your target market is prepared to part with their hard-earned money to buy. Most product design companies have never taken a product right the way through to manufacture. Most of them don't know how to manufacture products and have proper actual experience of having done it. And the reason is this: so many products never make it to market, particularly with startups and small businesses, that most product designers never get to experience that or learn the lessons from that. And big product design agencies, well, they work for big companies, and inevitably those big companies deal with all the manufacturing side of things themselves, and so the product designer never needs to be involved with it. But this is a real problem for you if you're an entrepreneur or business founder with a new idea, because you need a product designer that's going to take you right the way through from your initial bright idea to your manufactured product. And you want to make sure that your product is designed by someone who's experienced in design for cost-effective manufacture. Otherwise, it could mean that your product is just too expensive or that your tooling and manufacturing setup costs are huge. So, what's the solution? The solution? You can sit down and intensely interview your product design company and to make sure that they have the genuine manufacturing experience that you need for your product. Now that's not general manufacturing experience. For example, if you're talking to a product design agency and they've done loads of medical stuff and they've manufactured loads of medical products, well, great, but that's not going to help you if you've got something that's textiles, for example. So you need to make sure that the manufacturing experience from your product design company is relevant to you.